And now, coming to you live in your bathroom, in your bedroom, in your lounge, in your kitchen, at home, it's Lockdown Radio.
Don't touch that dial.
Give me a beat.
That's funky.
Right, Jeremy Loops, and it is Sinner right here on Lockdown Radio. Before that, I played Waves, and starting it all off, which is, of course, was the Power Play threesome, was Down South. Fantastic South African artist. All right, riddle me this, riddle me that. I'll give you the answer just before the news. The question once again, I'm an odd number, take away a letter, and I become an even. What number am I? Right, it's time for the burning topic, and we are talking about parents and single parents, particularly, mainly men as well, have been left having not to see their children during this lockdown period. Now, due to restrictions of movements, it has become impossible for men to travel and go and fetch their kids and see their kids during this time. So my question is, do you think that parents, single parents, male or female, should have been given a special permit to see their children over this time? And in light of restrictions, what can these single parents do to stay in touch with their kids? I've already had some comments, and I'll be taking comments throughout the show, but let's hear what some people have to say.
Yes, I definitely think that single parents who are in that situation should have been allowed access to go and visit their children and see their kids, because it's very important. And I think that in light of other restrictions that have been sort of like lifted, I think that this was something that they really should have actually also looked at. But thankfully, we live in a very technologically advanced era. So there is video calling and there is Skype. And yeah, that is definitely a way to just kind of keep in contact. It's not ideal, but it will have to work for this trying times.
Yes, and of course, we have to use technology to our advantage, seeing as though we are limited.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of men, single parents, have been affected by this quite severely in terms of not being able to see their kids at all. And the question about do I think that there should be or should have been a special permit to see children over this time is an interesting question. I'm in a very different situation because the relationship with my ex is very good, and so my thought process around this is really that I really think that as a society we're not very used to sacrifice and don't really understand sacrifice. A lot of us live in a quick fix solution mindset, and I think this thing is very, very serious. And I think that the one thing we can be grateful for is technology like WhatsApp video and FaceTime and Duo and all of those kind of things that I have taken advantage of hugely. In some cases, I get to see my kids 3 to 4 times a day and let them know that I love them and be able to kind of understand what's going on in their world and in their heads at the moment. So I've been very blessed, and I choose to look at this time as a sacrifice for a bunch of lives. The last thing I'd want to have happen is just pop out to the shops to get milk and bread and get infected somehow, and then even if I had a permit to see my children and then potentially have them get sick. So I think it is a sacrifice, but I also think that it's a good time to reflect on the things that we need to be grateful for that sometimes we take advantage of or take for granted. Things like simple things, just like a braai with friends, or breakfast or coffee with people, or just being able to spend time with our kids. So it's been a good time for me to reflect on those things, and hopefully when we come out of the other side of this thing, that we'll take those things to heart and really make quality time for our children and make quality time for the people that matter in our lives, because we realize how grateful we are for them.
Yeah, that is actually a very, very good point, and thanks for sharing that with us, because maybe governments have got this right by restricting the flow of traffic, because like the caller said, do you want to go to the shop to buy bread and milk, then go fetch your kids, let them spend the night with you, and you run the risk of having contracted it and then passing it on to them? It's a very good point. Although 3 weeks is a hell of a long time for parents not to see their kids when they're used to seeing their kids on a regular basis. My opinion is we probably should just embrace the technology and use it to the best of our ability in these trying times. And let's just hope that if everybody stays at home and the infections don't spread, this lockdown will end when it's supposed to end. And yeah, then you can take advantage of all the time missed and spend a lot of time with your kids afterwards. But keep the comments coming. I'll be playing them throughout the show and hearing what you have to say. I love hearing conflicting opinions. And so let's negotiate it and get it on. On with the music we go. From the movies, Dumb and Dumber, it's Deda a Dick, a new age girl.
And now, coming to you live in your bathroom, in your bedroom, in your lounge, in your kitchen, at home, it's Lockdown Radio.
Don't touch that dial.
Give me a beat.
That's funky.